My mama taught me the devil comes in many forms. Not always the pitchfork, not always the horns. No good from bad, oh, the devil will always win. He'll knock you down and tempt you with sin.
The award-winning Tennessee Wildcast is on the air with the latest on hunting, fishing, boating, wildlife watching, and all things outdoors. Make welcome your host, drummer and outdoor expert novice, Jason Harmon.
All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome to this edition of Tennessee Wildcast. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. We got a cool show for you today. We're kind of kicking off deer season, I feel like.
It's we are right there. It's just about ready to start.
Velvet Hunt has passed. That's kind of the kickoff, I guess.
Yep.
Become the new kickoff. And but now we're a few weeks away from September the 26th, I think it is. Don't quote me, maybe. I have to go back and look. Am I right?
Tyler's saying yes,
right.
yes.
So the archery guys will be out there chasing some big whitetails in Tennessee. So we thought, we ran across Mr. Tyler Deaver. He messaged us, and he was browsing our social media and things like that, looking for public land, and saw the show, and he's an artist, and thought, well, we'll have him in, talk about his experience trying to find public land and maybe play a few songs.
Play a couple songs, yeah.
Sir.
So we're excited to have him. He's a native of Wisconsin, but we'll get into all that here in just a minute. So,
sounds good.
Don, what you got in front of you there?
Well, I got some caps. Got some new caps. I like this digital camo version. That's pretty nice.
Sure, yeah, that's awesome.
Hey, and this one covers you for archery and muzzleloader gun. So
there you go.
You're good to go.
These
reversible on this one.
New products for our store. They're probably not there yet because I'm on the page as we speak, and I'm scrolling. And if you see on the screen, they're not there yet, but they're coming. So
There's
we got
another one.
Camo hat, a couple of camos, and then the toboggan. Or what's another word?
I
for
always
toboggan?
need one of these. Yeah.
What they call it, sock cap, toboggan,
No, beanie.
the beanie.
Beanie, yeah.
We've got the net gaiters, or whatever you want to call these, as well. They're online right now. The stickers are out there. Something new for breast cancer awareness that we're doing is the Todd, what camera are you on? This one is the pink breast cancer awareness patch. Patch. So that'll be kind of cool. People can buy those. They'll be out there soon. You don't want to lose your keys in the water, so that floats your keys. Look for all this stuff on our new store.
Stickers too.
Yeah, more stickers. Don's got them here. Fish, and that one's hunt. Got turkeys on it. But anyway, shop.gooutdoorstennessee.com, and that's where you can buy your Tennessee gear. So thought we'd throw it in there.
Good stuff. Yeah, you don't even have to buy a license to go in there and buy any of this stuff. So.
That's true. We just got the new shop store going where, you don't have to sign in first. You just have to fill your cart.
You had to give them a lot of information before you even looked around at the stuff. But now it's more like a regular store. So.
Yeah, makes it easy.
Yep.
So go and fill up your cart and get some Tennessee gear and get outdoors. Got some good hats for, like you said, muzzleloader and gun season. And even archery, so should be fun.
Hey, we're glad that Tyler reached out to us. So, hey, welcome to Tennessee, Tyler.
Appreciate you having me, guys. Thank you for having me on.
And we talked on the phone last night, just kind of talking about what was going to happen today, and he had to wait to call me till after his gig, and I said, man, that's the best excuse I've heard in a long time. A gig, actually go out and be able to play for folks again. How'd that feel?
It did feel really nice. It was got to call a buddy of mine. A lot of it's kind of broke down acoustic stuff, so there's less full band just because
right.
You can only have so many folks on stage and so many people in the bar. So I had a buddy of mine come play and got to play a little acoustic stuff, and you could tell I think the people are really itching for some live music again too. So
I bet.
We were glad to be there, and you can't beat playing music for a living. So it was happy.
That's for sure. That's great.
Yeah, that's awesome. So Nashville is the place to be for music, right? What brought you to Nashville? I guess music, right?
It is. It's I've been singing for a long time and just been involved in music in general. My sister's probably a better singer than I am. Don't tell her I said that, but I kind of followed her footsteps a little bit, and I never considered really moving to Nashville seriously until maybe high school when I really started looking at it, and I kind of was like, well, I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do, and I actually went to school for kind of a wildlife biology and environmental law enforcement thing. Worked for the Wisconsin DNR for a while.
Cool.
And then I moved down here. So my backup plan was I'll go be a biologist, or something like that. I'll have to go get a master's. But I was like, well, that'll be my plan B. But it worked out. My wife and I moved down a few years ago, and we're really glad we came down and met some great people and great musicians, and it's going really well. So
awesome. That's awesome. That's great. Well, you brought your guitar with you, and we thought we'd maybe kick it off with a song this show. And like I said, we're going to get into all kinds of stuff, music, deer hunting. He likes to hunt for sheds and things like that. So we're going to talk about all that today. But how about we kick it off with a song?
Sure. It'll take him a minute to get just set up here.
I think I can go right over the top here.
Okay.
So you do a lot of writing, I guess, as well. So you got some originals you want to share with us today?
I do, yeah.
What's the name of this first one?
Let's do, this one's called If the Devil Looks Like You. I'm going to play for you. This was the first single I got to cut. So I was really excited to finally get one professionally recorded, and this is what you came up with. So
all right.
My mama taught me the devil comes in many forms. Not always the pitchfork, not always the horns. No good from bad, oh, the devil will always win. He'll knock you down and tempt you with sin. Now here you come walking, those high heels bumping. That look could cut through fire. Temptation's got me right where it wants me. I don't think the devil can lose if the devil looks like you. Thought I was a good boy, and I'm not so sure. Some of these thoughts of mine ain't so pure. Try not to think of your red lips. I think I'm good, and I feel your fingertips. And here you come walking, those high heels bumping. That look could cut through fire. Temptation's got me right where it wants me. I don't think the devil can lose if the devil looks like you. Now here you come walking, those high heels bumping. That look could cut through fire. Temptation's got me right where it wants me. I don't think the devil can lose if the devil looks like you. If the devil looks like you, yeah. If the devil looks like you.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Awesome. I heard that one on your YouTube page. I was checking you out, and it's on YouTube and Facebook. That's a cool song.
Appreciate it, man.
I enjoy that.
It turned out good. I like it a lot. It's something really fun when you can take, say I wrote that and kind of just acoustic cut back, and then when you actually get into a studio and things start to come alive, it turns into something completely different. It's a very fun feeling, as what you guys know as a musician. It's pretty amazing.
It's a neat process, isn't it?
It really is.
The guys get in there and start playing licks, and let's try this feel, let's try this, and pretty soon magic happens.
It's crazy.
Yeah, especially when the drums come in.
Yeah.
My drummer would agree. Yeah, Bobby would be like, yeah.
Start it with a big old drum fill. Sure.
Hey, if you want to look up some of Tyler's music, Tyler Deaver Music on Facebook and Instagram, right?
Correct, yep.
And then TWRA.music.com.
Yes, sir.
Cool. Yeah, so that's how you can find some of that stuff. So Let's jump into the outdoors. How did you get introduced into hunting and fishing?
I was lucky, I grew up in southwestern Wisconsin, so I mean that's about as good a deer country as you can get.
Yeah.
It's right in that pocket of all that red Pope and Young and Boone and Crockett entries. So I was lucky. We had two family dairy farms that I grew up on, and about 100 acres ish apiece. So it was plenty of space for me to go run and kind of get in trouble by myself on.
Yeah.
A lot of gun hunters in my family, but not a ton of guys that bow hunted. So I was really lucky because it was pretty unpressured private land, and I mean you can really stumble on some good things. I learned pretty much every way not to kill a big deer that you could imagine because I didn't start bow hunting until I was about 12, 13, which is about when you can anyway. But my uncle gave me an old bow of his, an old Buckmaster 2000, just an old thing. Looked like it was from Lord of the Rings or something, and I take that out there and trek through the woods, and man, I wish in hindsight I wouldn't have been so picky early on, but I wanted to shoot something nice, and I should have just shot a deer, period, but I waited a long time and everything. But my father and my uncles and all them, they all hunt, big gun hunting family that way, but I took the bow and I ran with it, man.
Yeah.
So what drew you to archery with that
No pun intended.
Influence?
Exactly. That's right.
Hold on.
It's there's something I can't almost explain it to you, but there's something so cool to me about like the archery tackle and stuff. It's like the cool like Fred Bear recurve you got there and everything. Like I've been shooting compounds a long time, and I've recently got on the traditional kick, and I love it. There's just something to me that's just so. I love guns too. Don't get me wrong, but I just love the archery stuff, and just shooting archery by itself is so fun. I've shot a decent amount of like 3D tournaments and stuff like that. My wife enjoys shooting her bow. She's a Matthews shooter, of course, so people kind of tried to kick me out of Wisconsin. It's like, you don't shoot Matthews, and they're made like 30 minutes from where you grew up. Like, what's wrong with you? But yeah, I love them, man. And there's something special about taking an animal with a bow and arrow. It just gets in your blood, man. I love it.
That's neat.
I've heard that a lot. A lot of bow hunters say, it's real hunting when you're hunting with a bow. You got to get closer. There's a lot of things about a bow that's totally different than a gun.
It is. I think it's the same thing, though. We all, all hunters enjoy that same. It's kind of the process. It's like, although I love taking the animal, it's like that's probably one of almost the least favorite parts for me in the process. It's everything else that goes up to it and all the work, and sometimes it's luck. It's like there's so many things involved, and it's playing the wind. And even when you play the wind, as you all know, sometimes they still stick you. They still peg you in the tree, or they figure you out, or whatever. The thermals rolling down the hill, they'll catch you. It's like there's so much that goes into it. Washing your clothes and setting up stands, and these recent years I've tried to get a lot more mobile with my stand setups, taking climbing sticks in, especially on public land, which I do. I'm trying to do a lot more of that now. It's like you have to be mobile because most places you can't leave a stand overnight.
Right.
It's walk, you take it in, you take it out kind of thing. So tree saddles are great, and that's kind of what I'm kind of gravitating towards now. So
yeah, there's a lot of new products out there like the tree saddle. I think that's an actual brand, right?
Yep.
That you can just kind of hang from the tree. I haven't actually seen one or used one, but I've heard about them.
They're really cool, man. There's a lot of big brands. Tethered is one of the big brands. I have kind of an older brand. I was out in Colorado a couple springs ago, and I went back this spring looking for elk antlers and stuff. And I stopped at a Sportsman Warehouse, and they had it's like for $50 they had this, it was brand new, just an older clearance tree saddle. I'm like, oh, I've heard about those. I'll try one out, and they're pretty cool. It's basically like you're wearing. It looks like one of those darn those swing sets that are like for the little kid, that you set them in.
Oh yeah,
it looks like that, but it's nicer.
A little
than that.
tight
It's camouflage.
Yeah.
It's way comfier than that. It's got nice cushions and stuff. But yeah, it's basically just like a lineman's harness, basically, and like a Prusik knot that you can kind of adjust how far or close you are to the tree, and you just basically stand on your top level of steps, or you can buy little platforms that you can stand on. You can pretty much go all the way around the tree for the most part, which is pretty cool. Not to mention you're hiding behind the tree, so like if something comes in right in front of you, you can kind of just stand there until it gets in position, and you can lean out either way with your bow and kind of bring your bow underneath that tether. It's really slick. I like them a lot.
That's cool. Well, you're kind of on tips and tricks right now. What we're showing folks photos of the deer you've killed out in Wisconsin and things, but you're trying to transitioning to hunting in Tennessee on public land. So what's some tips and tricks that you would throw out there for folks as you've learned, trying to learn public land and hunt public land?
I tell you, I think one thing especially that that helps me a lot is like when I go look at, a lot of people will take a map, and so whether you're using Topo Maps and some of the great apps they have out there like Onyx Hunt and different things, or in this case too, Tennessee's got they have the ArcGIS maps that you can access right on their site, which are awesome because you can look at basically everything you need to, and it shows in bright green where you can and can't hunt, so it's like everything you need is right there. Basically, if you focus down in on, I try to focus on smaller areas, because if you look at a giant map like that, it's like you look at Cheatham, for example. Cheatham WMA, I spend a lot of time out there just looking around and scouting the property. And then Laurel Hill is a good one. I've been out towards the mountains too, out East Tennessee, towards like South Cherokee, National, all that stuff. And there's such a big swath of land. So it's like if you can break it down and try to pick up, like anything else, those habitat transitions. You look at, down here, it's a lot of big timber. So up north, it's cornfields and bean fields. It's a little bit easier. We have it easy up in Wisconsin.
Yeah.
You got corn and beans everywhere. Down here, it's like, there might be a little.
You go west, it'll open up a little bit.
Yeah. Yep. But it's tougher down here. You got to look at those big swaths, and obviously topography comes into it, finding those hills. But I think a lot of people, too, when they plan on hunting a spot, they don't think about, say, if they find a big piece of timber like that and they're looking at these hills and valleys and stuff, depending on where the wind is blowing, is also going to depend on where that deer is usually bedded a lot of times. So if on a west wind, that deer more than likely is going to be on the east side of the hill with the wind at his back, looking towards where the wind is going. A lot of people set up opposite of that, and I think they kind of run themselves right out of the conversation with it because they're on the wrong side of the hill.
Yeah.
Now, granted, when it's, different parts of the season, they're going to be running and moving around, but, like, that's one thing. Knowing kind of right off the bat, like, where they might be is one thing I try to focus in on. But really, for everything else, at a very bare minimum, try to find those habitat transitions where you have super thick cover, and then right when it gets a little less thick, that's where I try to be.
They're going to be skirting those edges on that, aren't they?
They are, and that's where you're going to find a lot of sign and everything else. And a lot of guys these days too are looking for specifically trying to find buck beds, and that's something I've really got into lately.
I saw a video, I think it was on your Instagram, maybe, that you'd found one of those, and you was out running around with your dog, and you was pointing that out.
It's crazy, because it's hard. You have to know. Sometimes it's like there's going to be does that bed in those buck beds, and bucks bed in doe beds. It's never going to be one or the other all the time.
Yeah.
But when you find a good buck bed, it kind of makes sense, because like that one I had on Instagram, it looks like literally like you made a scrape with your foot. There's no leaves there, just hair. There's hair and there's deer poop in there and everything, and it's a perfect spot for almost any wind. You can kind of look at it and you think, okay, if I'm this buck on this wind, he can see me walking in on the access road, and he's got the wind from anybody that comes in that way. Or it's like vice versa. It's pretty impressive, but it's like if you're lucky, then you're kind of like, okay, is there any way I can get in there and actually hunt this guy if he's sitting in there? And sometimes it's in those spots that, like, they're overlooked. People walk right past them because they're not that far from where the parking lot is, or sometimes those best spots are not too far off the road, on public. So you got to kind of think that, and you got to do a lot of walking. That's kind of been my main weapon of choice, is just walk as much of it as you can and see where there's not as much human sign. There's no water bottles sitting in the woods and stuff like that. You want to find those spots, and that's kind of what I've been trying to do.
Yeah. So how far did you have to walk to come up on these sheds you brought with you today?
Copper, my dog, and I, we put on some pretty good miles. For those, luckily those ones actually were somewhat easy. There was a picked cornfield that I found this one on. That was, I think, last year's there, but he's got some cool just trash down here, man. He's like, I guess that's for taking pictures right there, I suppose. But he got kind of a turkey foot thing going on.
Selfie stick.
Right, that's exactly right. They got some cool stuff. But yeah, like of course, you check the typical places. You look at the cut corn, or if there is, I usually go check on most of the WMAs that I can, like where's their corn this year, or if there's beans, or what kind of field it's going to be. And then I'm like, okay, this towards December and January, you'll get some of those early drops. Sometimes too, it's like I'll go check those spots, but then also too checking those kind of random spots. I found so many ancient ones that are almost completely gone, chewed up. Yeah. Places that aren't very far off the trail, but it's someplace that nobody ever went, because just like topography wise on the map, it doesn't look very different. But you get down in there, and there's like a little bench that isn't really, it's very subtle. And I found some old ones like that on little benches where they've probably bedded and they've laid there for years, that nobody saw them. So, but yeah, Copper and I usually put on a good chunk of miles. We were out there. I mean, when I was out in Colorado too, in about a week, we put about 70 miles on looking for elk antlers and mule deer antlers and stuff like that. And that was a lot of fun.
That's cool. I'm sure you learn a lot of tricks and get a lot become a better hunter as far as when it comes to deer season while you're out looking for these sheds. It's a great time to learn the woods.
It really is. It's like I know, ever since I was little, reading whether it's Deer and Deer Hunting magazine or whatever for tips like that, and they talk about like the best time to look is right after season because all those rubs show up like a bold print because you can see them all the trees, and it's like I think sometimes too, guys that get no doubt I do too. I get excited when I see a rub or a big scrape, but like you have to look at like okay, like what is that rub that can I guess when it was from? Why is it there? Is his bedding past it, or is he hitting that on the way out to the food? Or like, where is he getting that? And it's like trying to take those pieces, but at like that late or early spring, February, March type of vibe when you're looking for those antlers and stuff. That is a great time to be. Those trails show up so much better. Mm-hmm. It's that was one thing that was tough for me too. It's like the deer density in Wisconsin is through the roof, so it's like a trail looks like a cow path. Literally, it's like it's so beat down.
I saw a couple of videos you showed they were going. Yeah, they're
everywhere. But like down here, it's the more south than that because it's just like you have big timber like that. There might be deer trails there, but they're not getting used all the time. So that you're right though. That spring chunk of time, that's the time to be out there looking for that sign for sure.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I want to play another song before we run out of time.
Yeah.
You want to hear another one?
Yeah.
And then we'll come back and talk about these pictures.
Yeah.
I think that'd be good to.
Awesome.
You had some nice deer to show and talk about. But yeah, let's hear another one.
All right. This one's going to be my next single I do. This one's kind of about.
You heard it here first.
That's right. About growing up in farm country, little farm towns.
All right.
House lights pop on one by one, long before I see the head of the sun. It's coffee black to a tractor green. It's ice cold water in a trout stream. It's barn lights on in the dead of night, frozen dinners after midnight. It's the mid and it's the west. How tall's that corn's how we measure progress. I'll keep my barn, you can keep your city lights. These little old farm towns are perfect in my eyes. Too many lots with old used cars, mostly combines or tractors in our front yards. Just 2 days off every year, opening a weekend of gun deer. Barn lights on in the dead of the night, frozen dinners after midnight. It's the mid and it's the west. How tall's the corn's how we measure progress. I keep my barn, you can keep your city lights. These little old farm towns are perfect in my eyes. House lights on in the dead of the night, frozen dinners after midnight. It's the mid and it's the west. How tall's the corn's how we measure progress. I'll keep my barn, you can keep your city lights. These little old farm towns, yeah, these are little old farm towns, are perfect in my eyes. Ooh. Hey, hey, eyes. Yeah, something like that.
All right.
I love the imagery in that. I could see those towns as I was passing by.
Yeah.
Thank you, man.
That's great.
Those 2 days off, too.
That's right.
Yeah.
Get your priorities straight.
That's it. Wow, that's cool. Well, I want, before we run out of time, I want to check out some of these photos you
Yeah.
brought with you. This is a nice buck you killed in Wisconsin. You said all these came from Wisconsin.
Pretty
right?
much all the pictures here. Yep.
Off the farm or public land up there?
Yep. Lot of private lucky farm stuff right there.
Gotcha.
But
Gotcha. Cool.
Oh, there's that tag.
Uh-oh.
Yep.
Yep.
You wanna bring that up?
That
Yeah.
reminds us. Tennessee's gone back to the tag before you drag
Yep.
approach here. So anyway, there's a lot of ins and outs of that you can read about in the hunting guide. But
Yeah,
that is a
definitely.
change, especially for this deer season. So if you got the app, though, even if you're out in the boonies and you can't get a signal, all you have to do is check the animal in right there in the field, and it'll upload. It'll give you a confirmation.
Yep.
Even if you don't have a signal.
Service
So-
or no service, you
Yep.
can check it in.
So you'll be good.
And if you don't want to do that, download the tag off the website. You can do that as well. I noticed you had your Tennessee orange in this shot. That's good.
that's right. I had to represent, of course.
You mixed it in with a little green and yellow. We'll let it go
Yep.
this time. But that's a cool. You said you almost passed on that buck.
I probably wouldn't. It's funny. My neighbor had quite a few pictures of him, and I had some pictures of him, and had seen him, hoping to catch him in bow season. And then Wednesday at noon during gun season, of the opening weekend there, or opening week, he just came through, and I was sitting there eating a sandwich, and he walked through to, he was like 45 yards. He was
Wow.
like just right there, and I was like, "Jeepers, you kidding me?" And I see that he broke his G2 on there, but hey, I would have shot him either way. I'm not going to sit here and be like, "Oh, I wouldn't have shot him." I definitely would have shot that deer.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Very nice wide, yeah. And you're also a turkey hunter.
I am. I do like me some turkey hunting, man. I'm hoping maybe this next spring I'll take the recurve and see what I can see if I
yeah.
can try to get one there. But it's a lot of fun, man. It's just all the decoying's a really good time, and I'm not as good at turkey hunting, I think, as I am with deer hunting. I'm an okay caller, but I'm not great. So
Yeah.
I try my best and see what I can do. But it's fun to go after them with a stick and string, man.
Definitely. I need to get back into that more myself. All right, real quick. We got another one here. That's a nice one.
Oh, yeah.
Good mass on him.
Yeah.
Tiny twos, but
There's that barn in the song.
that's right.
You can
that's
have
right.
my barn, or I'll have my barn. You have your seat of lights, right? And then shot of the dog there,
Old Copper right there.
Copper. Awesome. Well, it's been fun,
Appreciate you guys
Tyler. I
having me, man.
appreciate you
Yeah, you bet, Tyler.
coming in. Maybe we'll have to have you back, get you one under your belt on public land, and then we'll
I'm all for it. That'd be
Tell us
great.
all about
tell us all about it. Yeah, I think it'd make a good second show.
I'd like it. Let's try.
Awesome. Well, like I said, thank you. If you want to find out more about Tyler Deaver Music, on Instagram, Facebook, TylerDeaverMusic.com online.
Yes,
So,
sir.
New single coming out soon.
Pretty
so
soon, yes,
be
sir.
looking for it.
yeah, awesome. And he's got some cool hats too. He brought in.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
Check out his website. You might find one on there. All right. Well, I appreciate everybody tuning in. Thanks everybody for watching. Don, thanks for co-hosting.
You bet.
Tyler, thank you again.
Thank you guys.
Thanks to our producer, Todd,
Yeah.
for pushing the buttons,
Todd's
switching
pushing the
everything in the proper order. And
There you go.
couldn't do it without him.
Yep, sure couldn't. All right. We'll see you next time on Tennessee Wildcast. Y'all have a good one.
Thanks for tuning in. Stay connected with TWRA by visiting our website at tnwildlife.org and follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Hey, it's all about Tennessee wildlife. It's what we do. Tennessee Wildcast will be on the air again next week. We'll see you then.